David Rose, previous founder and CEO of Ambient Devices. You've heard us talking about those cool umbrellas, and we gave away several on the show, and still use one to this day right at my front door. And I trust it. It works. If it's flashing, I take the umbrella that day. They bring life to inanimate objects, and they're continuing to do that. He's the CEO now of Vitality. David Rose, welcome into Tomorrow. How are you?
Thank you, Dave. I'm doing fantastic. Thank you.
It's a pleasure to have you with us. Tell me about the Glow Cap, which is one of your latest inventions, I guess, right?
Sure. Well, this is another case where we're taking an ordinary object and imbuing it with a little bit of technology so that it becomes extraordinary. And this is a case where we're focusing on a very large problem in America, which is over 50% of all Americans now are on some prescription med. And most of us take it about every other day. The doctor says, do this every day, and you take it about 50% of the time.
Yikes.
So,
which can't be healthy for us. If the doctor's prescribing, take it once daily, and you skip days, not a good thing.
Exactly. I mean, it really hurts many parties. I mean, the industry talks about the 5 Ps. It's patients suffer, pharmacy suffers, big pharma suffers because they don't sell as much Lipitor, providers suffer, and physicians, can't do their jobs because you're not taking your meds. So this is
Well, I'm not overly concerned about the big drug companies suffering. They can afford to suffer a little, I guess, if it had to be. But the patients and the physicians' issues and things like that, they all have to come into play, I guess, in the long run.
That's right. So what we've done is we've taken a Walgreens pill vial, a prescription med vial that they just give out meds in, and we took off the old cap and fashioned a new cap with a little microcontroller in it and a wireless chipset and an LED and a sound chip. And now, when it's time to take your medication, it subtly pulses like a bike light would pulse with lights, and that's the polite mode. And if you still don't open it...
So a little reminder with just a light flashing, first of all.
That's right. And then we get more and more obnoxious over time. So, so then it starts playing a sound every 5 minutes.
A little chime or something? Or?
Exactly.
Okay.
It's sort of a do-do-do-do-do.
Gotcha.
And so people really pay attention to that. And so it basically keeps bugging you until you open the cap and take the medication.
So at what point does it scream at me, hey, dummy, take your medicine?
Well, there are actually 2 versions of the product. The version that's on Amazon.com right now is the Glow Cap Solo, which is just for a once-a-day med. And we're working on the Glow Cap Connect, which is one where the Glow Cap talks to the internet, and so it can dial your home phone, help order refills from the pharmacy, and it can communicate your adherence record to your physician. So the next time you go in, they're more involved.
Really? Okay. And even do more reminders. So you say it'll call me and tell me to take my medicine if I forget.
If you want.
If I want to.
Yeah.
Wow.
Or text you.
Or I like that. Text. Take your pill, dummy. Something like that. So you got to get it customized. I'm thinking that'll be even more interesting. Or mom says, don't forget. Something like that, just to keep it fun.
Right. Or celebrity voice like yours.
Well, there you go.
Right.
Hi, it's Dave. Don't forget to take your pill now.
That's right.
Dummy.
That might work.
So, I love it. Well, we'll have to work on that for version 3.
Sounds good.
We'll make that available. But you mentioned the current one available on Amazon. What are we talking price-wise?
Right. So each cap is $29.95.
Okay.
And if people are on multiple meds, you can buy multiple caps, or maybe you just want to buy one cap for an evening med and one for a morning med, just to remind you. Makes a great caring gift.
There you go. And frankly, it might be something for mom or dad or grandma or granddad or something like that, because if they're forgetting to take the medication, it helps to remind them with first a subtle little light blinking, and then followed by a little chime.
That's right.
And version 3 followed by Dave reminding them to take their medicine. So very easy to set up, I gather, right? You take the old cap off, put this cap on, and it programs for every 24 hours. It's going to then alert.
That's exactly right. With the Glow Cap Solo, you just pop in the batteries, and that sets the dose time.
Okay.
So if you want to take a morning med and you want to start flashing at 7 o'clock in the morning, you pop the batteries in on that first day, and then for the next 9 months, it will do the right thing.
Oh, very good. And the batteries are likely to last a while, hopefully.
Yes.
Good.
At least 9 months.
About 9 months,
Yeah.
Okay. I guess as long as we eventually take the medicine and not let it keep flashing and keep chiming, which is going to run the battery down. So,
well, it's interesting. We're doing a pilot right now with Harvard Medical School to try to measure how much we can affect people's adherence. That's the technical term for how often you take your meds.
Gotcha.
So the baseline now is about 50%. That's what for most chronic diseases like heart disease, it's about 50%. And if we can lift that to 60% or 75%,
Well, sure.
it's a huge win for many people.
Wow. I mean, so you're actually helping to save lives with this kind of an
Yeah.
invention. I mean, the ambient umbrella was neat, and it flashed, and it reminded me to take the umbrella, but it wasn't likely to save my life, you
Right.
know, but it was a convenience thing. Now we're talking a little more important.
Yeah, you know, the Obama administration has talked about e-prescribing as an important initiative, and we see the glow cap as sort of the next step in e-prescribing, which is e-adherence, or you know, getting your medication to sort of get entrained into that habit every day.
Or how about you better take your medicine so that you're not sick or otherwise. What other things then are around the corner and into tomorrow that you can tease us with? You got to be working on other fun items too.
Well, you know, the most important one is the connected version of the cap, which
Sure.
is in the Harvard pilot right now.
Okay.
So that we're experimenting with different incentive systems to get people to take medication. So if you take it more than 90% of the time, for example, over 90 days, we might pay you $1 for every day you take the med.
Really? So
well-
you can pay me to take my drugs or something?
Well, that's
kind of like pill pushing, but in a good way.
Well, I think incentives certainly. Financial incentives are one side, and social incentives are another side.
Well, sure.
So we're doing a little Facebook app where you can share with buddies what your adherence number is. It doesn't tell them what med you're taking.
Right, it's none of their business.
That's right.
But just
but it
whatever.
shows you sort of your percent over the last couple of weeks, and so you can boast about that, and they
Yeah.
can sort of encourage you through whatever social support dynamics that you have with them.
I like it. And if nothing else, how about just being healthier because you're taking your medication and not forgetting to do so?
Right. We should all help each other.
Exactly. Check them out at rxvitality.com. Of course, we'll have a link for you to David's site and all of our guests here at CES and all of our guests on all of our shows. Swing by graveline.com or intotomorrow.com for more info. David, thanks for spending a couple of minutes with us.
Appreciated it.
Into Tomorrow continues. I'm Dave Graveline. This, the Advanced Media Network.